Okay, are you recording?
I am now.
Welcome to the Micheaux Mission, Two Men, One Podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I am joined as always by my partner.
Hey, what's up? This is Len, aka the Bat Tribble.
And on this stop on the mission, we will spend some time with the debut film by filmmaker Nijla Mu'min, 2018's Jinn, starring Zoe Renee, Kelvin Harrison, our friend Simone Missick, and appearances by Kelvin Harrison Jr. and our other friend Dorian Missick. But before we get to Jinn, Mr. Webb.
Mr. Williams, join me in welcoming and thank each and every one of the people that are out there watching us as we stream live on Facebook, as well as on our YouTube page, Micheaux Mission. Hi, Miss Makiba, who is very excited that she found this film on Prime Video.
All right. Hey, Miss Makiba.
Very cool, very cool. And hopefully you will appreciate our review of this film. And Sharon Nugget said that Jinn is a whole family affair. It indeed,
yeah,
indeed it is a family affair. Hey Vince, speaking of a family affair, okay?
Yes.
Not that we were speaking of it, but we mentioned it. So that's enough to provide a segue. And this segues us into...
Some segs way stronger than others.
Very true. And some go on longer than others. This one is going on long enough. That gets us into a little bit of a brouhaha, for lack of a better word, that busted out on the internet recently over the... it has already been announced quite some time ago, but I think it became real for people when the character designs for the new Good Times animated series found their way to the internet. And found their way to our Facebook group, ladies and gentlemen. Did you see this, Vince?
I did. I did. The people, no one really seemed to be happy about this, but yes, I did see. I did see said designs. I will say this though. Now that I'm looking directly at it for the first time, I appreciate that they kept James Evans' shirt too small. John Amos always looked like he was about to bust out of his shirt in black rage.
That is very true. That is very, very, very true. The Good Times animated series, ladies and gentlemen, for those who do not know, is going to be appearing on Netflix, and it is a joint production of basketball star Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors and one Seth MacFarlane, both more popularly known as the creator and producer of the Family Guy long-running TV series. And I think, if I'm correct, it was the idea of Seth MacFarlane being involved in this series that got people a little upset. People looking a little slant-eyed about this show, primarily because of, let's face it, Family Guy is definitely kind of like a little bit lowbrow juvenile humor, a lot of it, not all of it.
Right.
And some of that humor found its way into Seth MacFarlane's other series, animated series, The Cleveland Show, which has been canceled by now, a few years by now. And also, I think he does another show about some guy who's
American Dad.
American Dad.
I mean, he has quite a little empire.
Right. So people are kind of like up in arms about his participation in this and what that foretells for the Good Times TV series. And there are also people who feel that it's maybe a little bit of, sacrilegious to bring back this show in an animated form. Now, where do you stand with that, Vince?
I just...
You don't care. You don't care.
It's so hard for me. It's like who cares about this? Like, I understand Steph Curry enjoyed Good Times, and I mean, I guess he liked the reruns. Like, Steph Curry is too young to have watched it.
In first run, that's true. No.
When it was first run, I just have a hard time working up the energy. I think Seth MacFarlane is I don't know how much he's going to be involved as a creator.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, is he producing it or is he creating? Because I think you talk about lowbrow. It's just broad and not that Good Times was the most subtle television show.
True.
But it is Norman Jewison.
Norman Lear.
Not Norman Jewison. I'm sorry, Norman Lear. And it had bright spots. I think people who have an affection for Good Times have an affection for the good episodes.
Right. And even more so than that, I think the people that have affection for Good Times have affection for primarily this cast, which is,
sure.
James and Florida, married with, JJ, Thelma, and Michael as their kids. And I think the good stuff of the show definitely is primarily found in those earlier seasons. I think James left after either the second or third season.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it was with his exit, because the show had changed in scope so much from a family comedy about this family living in the projects to just a very broad slapstick comedy to big up the profile of JJ.
Right.
I think that when people think with fondness on the show, they're thinking about those first couple of years. They may think laughingly about some other scenes, but it's primarily for those first couple of years where the quality comes in. And I think that there are opportunities to mine some things in those characters. And as opposed to doing a reboot of the series, where now you've got to cast somebody who gives you kind of like the idea of James and not rerun, but JJ and Florida and everything like that. Doing them in an animated form is a way that they can always stay that family nucleus. And who knows? They might be able to do something.
Now that you forced me to think about it longer than 45 seconds, I really think what it's going to come down to is the writing staff.
Exactly.
Because something that hit me just now, if Seth MacFarlane drives up to the writing staff of Black Dynamite and says, "Here are the keys to Good Times,"
mm-hmm.
It could be something.
It could be.
It could be something, but that's a lot of variable.
A lot of variable.
I'm going to go back to ignoring it completely until something happens to make me pay attention to it again. That's where I am with this.
Okay, fair enough.
And you are you going to put a pin in this? Are you going to tag this like they do sharks and watch it swim?
Like, am I going to follow up and check out Good Times? I am.
All right.
I am. I'm curious to see what happens. Hey, first of all, look, I feel that, especially, calling myself an artist of a point, yes, to do a podcast, but I do artwork as well and stuff like that. I feel it, right or wrong, culturally obligated to at least give every little piece of art that is speaking from an African American voice or pretends to look through a situation through an African American lens, at least give them one shot, right? Okay. I mean, this is why I watched the first episode of the new season of the Batwoman TV series on CW, because they cast a African American to be Batwoman. So I said, well, let me give her a shot. And I gave her a shot. Now I'm done, and I don't have to give her any more shots. So I'm going to give the Good Time animated series. I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay. So just to complicate that a bit, Batwoman, I'm assuming, and I don't know, but I just know CW shows. I'm assuming that the writing staff and the entire creative entity around Batwoman is pretty monochromatic. And and if Good Times follows the path of Seth MacFarlane, and I'm just going by what he did with something like the Cleveland Show, I don't know how much Black creativity is going to be writing it. Hell, I don't know how much Black creativity is going to be doing the voices if you don't watch them. Does that count? This counts as something that you still.
I would still look at it because Seth Curry is a producer on this, and something tells me I want to believe that Steph Curry is smart enough to try to make sure that he's got the right complexion going up in that room, in that writing room,
or at least the right sensibility.
Right, that's true, because it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, because I mean, like the head, right? The person who puts it together doesn't necessarily have to be a Black person for a situation or a series or a movie or whatever to resonate profoundly with the Black experience. I mean, I'm thinking about Watchmen with Damien Lindelof.
Right. But as we've discussed, he made the wonderful move of kind of falling back.
Well, true, and who knows? That might be Seth MacFarlane's.
Might happen with Good Times. Okay, right. All right. So, are you happy, Lynn?
Thank you, Vince. Thank you for indulging me.
You made me talk about Good Times, the animated series by Seth MacFarlane, for 6 minutes. Are you happy? Are you not entertained?
I am. Aaron Fry says that the voiceover cast, I'm thinking means like the voice cast, must be all Black actors.
I mean, I hope so.
I hope so too. I hope so as well. All right. That's enough about Good Time. Thank you, Vince. I appreciate you. And hello, everyone else who's still joining us in the Facebook group. Hi, Deborah. I see you. Robert Monroe, Blue Girl. I see you all. Aaron Fry. I see you all.
What's going on, folks?
Now, Vincent, for just a change of pace for a little bit, if you will indulge me again, please, sir. Let's talk about One Night in Miami.
Yeah.
New movie that premiered this month on Prime, Amazon Prime. One Night in Miami tells the story of the fictionalized meeting of Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke in a room at the Hampton House in February of 1964, celebrating Muhammad Ali's surprise title win over Sonny Liston. At this time, Muhammad Ali is going by Cassius Clay. This film, from a screenplay by Ken Powers, adapted from his play by the same name, features the directorial debut of the actress Regina King, the Academy Award-winning actress Regina King, and stars Kingsley Ben-Adir, Eli Goree, Aldous Hodge, and Leslie Odom Jr. in the lead roles. with a always happy to see Lance Reddick in a supporting role.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to get your take on watching this film, Vince, because I had always intended to watch the movie, but before I watched it, um, my sister and her husband, they had watched the film, and they told me that they found this film to be a little slow and a little
Mm-hmm.
boring, and they did not enjoy the film. Right, so I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm still curious to check it out."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when I went into it, that was the only thing I knew about it. I hadn't read any reviews for the movie or anything like that. Of course, it's been hyped up a little bit, but I didn't read any reviews. And in watching the film, except to hear, and just through osmosis, you couldn't help but hear that that the acting in it was amazing, especially Kingsley Ben-Adir, who portrays Malcolm X in the film. That's the one thing that was leaking out, was that you've got to see this Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched the movie. I'm always a sucker for a good period film. This film is set in 1964. It starts off recreating the fight between Cassius Clay and Sonny Liston, which is always pretty audacious for a first-time director to try to depict a boxing scene there. I don't know if it like exactly starts off with that, but that's definitely in the lead early on in the film. But I actually found myself slowly being sucked into the world, slowly sucked into this idea of being the fly on the wall before this meeting between these four icons of the time, who history tells us were indeed friends of a sort. Maybe not as best buddies as portrayed in this film, but definitely were friends who actually did meet up and at this time after this fight and commiserated over ice cream. So I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And then you're just kind of trying to fill in the gaps to take this little snapshot of history, this little one-line sentence from all of these guys' bio, and then create this story that kind of works in a way as a bit of a mini biography of all of these guys. And I found myself kind of like entertained by it and moved by it. I was very interested on your read on the film.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a great deal. We've been talking about Kent Powers on and off the past couple of weeks because he co-directed and co-wrote the script to Soul.
Right.
And I thought the screenplay was amazing. Like I thought this is a very dialogue heavy film. As you mentioned,
right.
It really is just, for 85 to 90% of it, an extended conversation between these four men, and sometimes they break off into little groups, but it's just very talky.
Right.
And I think the challenge was to try and humanize these four people that in 2021, as you said, are actual icons.
Right.
And I thought the script was a great foundation for doing that. Like, I really believed in the humanity of all four of these men, all of these characters. I thought the acting went from great to superb. I think, I love Leslie Odom, just from Hamilton. And he didn't quite click all the way for me as Sam Cooke, just when I think about Sam Cooke. But I liked him a lot. And I think that frustration and that devil may care attitude that covers up the turmoil, all the emotions that were, I thought Leslie Odom Jr. did that really well. I have to say, I like Kingsley Ben-Adir I didn't think he was the breakout for me though. Like obviously he looks more like Malcolm X
Right.
than
Malcolm X.
Then right. And he had that down pat. And again, I think what Kent Powers very smartly focused on is that while these four are icons, you catch them at different moments.
That's true.
In their life. And this is literally a matter of months before Malcolm X is assassinated.
And not long before Sam Cooke is murdered as well.
Right. But Sam Cooke didn't know it was coming.
That's true.
Malcolm X pretty much knew. And that weariness comes through Kingsley Benadir's performance. And I thought that worked really, really well. I think, and I've said this since Ali, I think portraying Muhammad Ali is a fool's errand, especially for people our age, because Muhammad Ali is such a larger than life presence in our lives that anyone who tries it just pales. And I was trying to figure out why Eli Goree worked for me so well. And it clicked when somebody said, this is Cassius Clay and he's 22.
That's right. He's not Muhammad Ali yet. Yeah.
He's not Muhammad Ali yet. He's little more than a kid. And I thought Eli Goree did a great job having that youthful bravado. And that sort of doubt that comes from him being the youngest in the room. Like you got the sense he's the most powerful in the room as far as his influence, and everyone knows what he's about to be, but he's a kid.
Yeah.
You know who was a revelation to me though was Aldous Hodge.
Really?
I thought he was amazing as Jim Brown.
You thought
he
so?
looked
Okay.
Nothing like Jim Brown.
True.
But by the end, he had a Jim Brownness about him. And the way he carried it that I thought was fantastic. There is, in my mind, the best scene in the movie at the beginning with Jim Brown.
Oh, with Bo Bridges.
I don't even want to talk about the scene. I'm talking about this script. The scene is amazing. And I really, really enjoyed Aldous Hodges. I will say this about Regina King's direction. I looked up and the movie was over. Like I couldn't believe the movie was over. Like it was like, are you freezing? I think
no. I'm right here.
Okay.
Right here.
Yeah. This thing moved like for it to be 2 solid hours. I looked up and the movie was over. I thought
that it kind of lagged a little bit, and there were some directorial choices that I kind of questioned, the camera lingering in a position a little bit longer than I thought it maybe should have, and I don't know necessarily whether or not that was the director's call or just the editing of the film.
I'm going to say something about that for Jinn. That's so funny. I had that in my notes for Jinn. Go ahead.
But I think that for the most part, yeah, her direction is very solid in this movie. And she gets out of the actor's way, which makes sense when you're an actor that's a director, because you know what you would want a director to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when you talked about Aldous Hodge, I think he had, in many ways, the worst, well, not the worst, not the harder job of all of them, because as iconic as Jim Brown is very much still, and even then, an enigma. So you know him, but you don't 100% know him. And then some of the stuff that you know about him is cool, and some of the stuff that you know about Jim Brown, even this point in 1964, ain't so cool. You know what I mean? Right. He's got a little bit of, there's some stuff. Let's just say there's some stuff in Jim Brown's it's in his closet right now at this time in 1964. And Jim Brown is not as extremely intelligent and smart as the man is. He's not a guy who it's going to speak a lot. He ain't got time for like no soliloquies.
He's a man of action.
A man of action, a man of few words. So Aldous Hodge is then asked to, be Jim Brown and get that over, yet still having probably definitely less in the script as far as lines in the script, So everything is his facial expressions and him just kind of like being there for everybody. But he definitely pulls it off. I'm definitely a fan of Aldous Hodge. Fatima Ali actually corrects you a little bit, Vince, because and this is what I thought. Malcolm X is actually murdered a year later. It's Sam Cooke who dies later in 1964.
No, but he's murdered in February.
Yeah, but still, he's murdered in February 1965. Sam Cooke doesn't make it out of 64.
He doesn't make it out of 64. Yeah.
So I mean, and you get, and like you said, he doesn't see it coming. And if you knew Sam Cooke, you wouldn't see it coming either, because to see him in this film, it sounds like he's about to like rewrite his whole career at this moment.
Now I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna move on. If my brother was sitting here and we had some bourbon between us, and it was an hour later, we would talk for 2 hours about how Sam Cooke was murdered.
Oh, look,
and because for the exact reasons they talked about in this film, not murdered, he was assassinated.
Well, there's
I don't
more
believe
than
in any conspiracies, but Sam Cooke is one of the ones I believe in.
Well, there's more than a few documentaries about the life and murder of Sam Cooke that I invite you, ladies and gentlemen, to go check out, because he is probably, along with Jim Brown, the name and personage from this film that a lot of people probably know the least about. You know what I mean? You've heard Sam Cooke, but do you really know Sam Cooke? And if you ain't into sports, you don't know Jim Brown.
Right. When Jim Brown says Sam is the only one that's not waiting for a white man to sign a check.
That's all you need to know about Sam Cooke.
When Sam Cooke broke down the map of the Masters and what went on, and remember, this is the 60s Sam Cooke was talking about this.
That's right. Sam Cooke was a bad man. He was a bad man. But I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed the film, man.
Yeah, I did. I really did. And I'm looking forward to more from all involved.
Me too. Definitely. All right. Mr. Makiba, thank you for the plug. The Two Killings.
That's right.
Cooke, streaming on Netflix. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
And James Girl says Aldous Hodge is bae. Well, congratulations. There you go.
I've liked him since he was Voodoo, the evil quarterback on Friday Night Lights.
Wow. I didn't watch Friday Night Lights, so
yeah.
What are you doing watching Friday Night Lights?
I love Friday Night Lights. Was fantastic.
I mean, it's about high school football.
Yeah, but I mean, it was about high school football, but that's like saying Taxi was about taxi drivers.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Michael, when the years Michael B. Jordan was on, Aldous Hodges was his big rival. They were rival quarterbacks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he played Voodoo.
All right. I've heard good things about Friday Night Lights. I think I watched like the first season and then I kind of like fell off.
Hey, man, clear eyes, full hearts. Can't lose.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our review of the actual film that we're reviewing tonight.
All right.
2018, it is Jinn.
This pause is so pregnant.
But first, it's time for trailer talk. Me and Vince to shoot the shit out here. I have a question for you, Vince. I meant to put this on social media. I didn't put it on social media. I don't think I asked you last week. So I'm asking you this week, okay? And it's one of those questions that you probably hate, but I've got your camera now, so you have to answer.
Okay.
All right. You are on a desert island.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
And you can only have
Low End Theory, Songs in the Key of Life, John Coltrane, My Favorite Things.
Okay. You can only have one movie, one TV series,
Okay. Movie, TV series,
one book,
okay.
and one album.
Okay. Album, Low End Theory. Book,
really? Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Book, Another Country by James Baldwin. Movie, A Raisin in the Sun.
A Raisin in the Sun. Interesting.
A Raisin in the Sun. Like I'm thinking something that I have to spend my time with for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I'm going bang for buck. And then television show, that's hard.
Yeah, I think that's the one that was like getting me. I was going back and forth on a bunch.
Because I don't want to spend the rest of my life watching The Wire.
See, that's it. You just said the exact words that came out of my mouth. I couldn't watch The Wire for the rest of my life. Like, you got to figure this is a series you're going to watch at least twice a year.
You know what? Can I cheat a little bit and assume that this is 2 years in the future so that there are 3 seasons of Atlanta? Because
Really?
I want something that has everything.
Mm-hmm.
I want comedy. I want drama. I want something that's a bit surreal.
Mm-hmm.
I want romance.
Yeah.
And just off the top of my head, yeah, TV show is the hard one.
That's the hard one, right?
TV show is my wife just texted me and said Sanford and Son.
I could not watch Sanford and Son over and over again.
Which I love, but like I said, I want something with some different flavors in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To keep it moving, I'm going to stick with Atlanta. All right, you go.
Atlanta. Wow. Okay. Well, my album, I'm cheating a little bit for my album because my album is the best of Anita Baker. However, I'm putting it in the album jacket of her first album, a songstress, because I love that picture. But I want the
wait, songstress? No, Rapture. She has on the black dress.
Yes, it's the black. Well, that's the one where she has on the black dress, sitting down.
The black dress.
The spaghetti strap. Yeah, the spaghetti strap. So it's the best. Exactly. That's my Anita Baker. So it's the best of Anita Baker in that album cover.
Okay. All
right. My book is they do this like every about 3 or 4 years. They'll compile a colossal, oversized compendium of Uncle John's Bathroom Reader. So whatever the most recent one is, that's the one that's coming with me.
You're trying to get bang for your buck.
That's right.
You're going to be on the island.
I'm on the island, dog.
All
right. My movie, I went back and forth with my movie, right? I might lose some street cred with these choices. But my movie, I settled on, as much as I love Jones, I settled on Glengarry Glen Ross.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I could watch that movie on repeat and just
That's a good
I
one.
love that. Absolutely love that fucking movie. And then with this TV series, now TV series is hard because you don't want to watch The Wire forever and a day.
You don't want to watch The Wire.
You just can't do that to yourself. You know what I mean? I can't watch The Sopranos every day.
No,
I can't watch Breaking Bad.
No.
But I don't want to. But do I want a comedy? Don't I want a little bit of drama? And I've seen The West Wing. Like if I got on the island and The West Wing was there, as much as I love The West Wing, I'd probably shoot myself because I'd probably watch that more than any other series.
Right. You should probably ask where the gun came from. But go ahead.
Okay, true enough. But so I settled on, and it'll probably change, but I settled on Frasier.
Really?
I know. I say that as I say it, I know that this is wrong.
More than Cheers?
You know why? Because as much as I do love Cheers, I love Niles.
Do you?
And Niles is not in Cheers. And Lilith still comes, and all the guys from Cheers show up on Frasier.
Yeah, that's true. All right, there you go.
So, and I probably would change. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
It's a good exercise. You saw I had some stuff ready to go. I do the exercise with myself all the time.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, if I only had one fill in the blank to do the rest of my life, I do it all the time.
Bree 517 says her book would be Jazz by Toni Morrison. Well, that's a good one.
You got that, Bree 517.
TV show would be Insecure so that she can finally watch it. Well, that's no reason to take it to the so what happens if you
like it? I hope you like it.
Just ass out. Miss Makeba says that her album would be What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. Her book would be Kindred by Octavia Butler. Oh, that's a good one. Or Tanaravi Du's The Good House. I always have to take my time for it.
Interesting. I've never read that. I'll have to put that on the list.
Her movie would be The Five Heartbeats. That's not a bad choice.
That's a good one. That's a good choice.
And her TV show would be A Different World. Now,
that's a good choice.
A Different World is a very good choice. When I first read that, in my mind, I saw Different Strokes, and I was going to say, like, what are you thinking? So I'm cool.
Can I just tell you, maybe a month ago, I was explaining to my daughter about the phenomenon of Gary Coleman and
Todd Bridges.
I just forgot Webster's name.
Oh, Emmanuel Stewart.
Emmanuel Lewis.
Emmanuel Lewis.
And old school Rodney Allen Rippey.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. You were deep.
And I was explaining America had that moment. They just love these little itty bitty black boys. And my daughter was just horrified.
Really? What about our fascination with these guys?
Just America's sort of blatant freakish, the way they kind of made us freakish.
Well,
so blatantly.
Well, you know what? I don't know if America got freakish, especially not with Gary Coleman, because Gary Coleman was definitely, once he developed a little bit of agency of his own, he kind of like was like, yo, stop patting my head. But Emmanuel Lewis, like, they definitely fetishized that kid, and none more than Michael Jackson. Remember, Michael Jackson used to have this grown man sitting on his lap like he was a doll baby.
Well, I'm glad we're on Trailer Talk, but I think this is documented. You know what happened with that?
No, what
happened? He tried to check into a hotel with Emmanuel Lewis as father and son, and Emmanuel Lewis's mother shut that down.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like Tuesday they were inseparable, and then Wednesday they weren't.
Wow.
Emmanuel Lewis's mother shut that down. Yep.
I don't blame her. Yeah, I was never cool with that. Fatima Ali, I knew people would like this question. TV show The Jeffersons. Good one. The book would be Beverly Jenkins' Vivid.
Okay.
Movie would be Boomerang.
All right.
And the album would be The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That's a very good album.
That's a good one. That's a good choice.
Very good.
A lot of bang for your buck with that.
Sharon Nugget. See, this is why I love Sharon. She's new here and I love her. She said there's nothing wrong with Frasier and Niles is comedy gold and it's a nice long series to last while you're on the island. That's what I was thinking, Sharon. She's right on point. I love her.
You go.
Robert Monroe says this book would be Tao Te Ching. TV show would be Star Trek Deep Space Nine or Babylon 5. And his album would be A Love Supreme.
Good choice. A lot of bang for your buck with The Love Supreme.
Lot of good choices.
Yeah. Y'all are going to have good islands.
I know. We might have to swim to a couple of islands.
Right.
Making our way over there. All right. All right, Vince.
All right.
That was trailer talk. That was good long trailer talk. That was fun.
Yeah.
And now it is time to get into our film this evening, which is Jinn.
I know. I'm trying to find the intro I want to use.
I didn't know if you were waiting for me.
No. You know how it's a couple of synopsises. I'm trying to see which one I want to use.
Okay, I got you.
All right. Jinn is a 2018 film written and directed by Nijla Mu'min, which is about Summer, a carefree 17-year-old whose world gets turned upside down when her mother, a popular meteorologist, abruptly decides to convert to Islam. Starring Zoe Renee, Kelvin Harrison, our friend Simone Missick, with appearances by Hisham Tawfiq, Kelly Jenrette, and our other friend Dorian Missick. Jinn was the choice of Lynn Webb. Lynn, what say you of 2018's Jinn?
Well, having never seen this film before watching it for the show, I actually was surprised how this film kind of like fit in theme with what we were doing in these last couple of weeks in January, in not only selecting films, independent films that were written and directed by women, but I think it's fair to say, unbeknownst to us, we selected two films that presented windows into worlds that are not often seen on the movie screens. In The Watermelon Woman in 1996, providing such a matter-of-fact viewpoint into Black lesbian lifestyle in Philadelphia at that time. In this film, presenting, again, a very fly-on-the-wall, matter-of-fact look into the world of Islam and the conversion to Muslim from 2018. And as much as this film is presented as a coming-of-age film for the character Summer, portrayed by Zoe Renee, this actually is really a film about two women converting to Islam and their struggles with it, because this film is very much about her mother as well, Jade, played by Simone Missick. And as you have alluded to, both Dorian and Simone Missick have grown to become friends of the show. They have been guests on the show a couple of times. We've been fortunate enough to be able to be in their company and share words with them and stuff like that. And we're very appreciative of their friendship. So, I wanted to keep that in mind, but still try and be as objective as possible when looking at this film. I think that's one of the reasons why we kind of like held off on reviewing the film.
Right. But the work is the work.
The work is the work, and you got to do what you got to do.
That's right.
So this is a film that is very much about these two women, and right off the bat, this is a film that it made me angry, but it made me angry because, I was like, oh, you must have done something right, because like you got me. Because this film opens up with Jade, the mother, more or less converting to Islam, right? You're not given any real reason why she's doing it. You don't get any type of backstory of what led her to this moment. It's literally, she's in one scene, she's a weather woman, and in another scene, she's thinking about becoming Islamic. In the third scene, she's Islamic, and you don't really see any type of thought process with that. You don't really see what is going on in her backstory that's making her do this, which is fine if that's how the story is being told. But then she, to me, at least in this film, demands that her daughter take on the Islamic faith as well. And while if you're raising a young child, they kind of like follow in your footsteps. Where I go, you go, because this is where I got to go. I'm going to church today. You're going to me. You're going with me. Summer is not a young girl. Summer is, and we're told very early on in the film, is a high school senior, which means that she is probably a good 17, 18 years old. And to me, and the relationship that is portrayed between Jade and Summer definitely feels like a relationship that is, it's a maternal relationship, but it definitely feels like they have like a looseness about their relationship that is more, they definitely confide in one another. They're friends. She likes her mom. She likes her daughter. They get along. So for her to all of a sudden turn so staunchly maternal to her 17-year-old and make her have to go to, take on this Islamic faith, which we're not really given any type of subtext as to why she's taking it on. I was like, yo, why are you doing it? That kind of like I got mad. I was like, yo, why are you doing that? She's a 17-year-old. I can understand her being resistant to that. But that being said, as resistant as she is to it, she does Summer, you do see Summer slowly kind of like embrace the Islamic faith, the Muslim way of life, or at least so you believe. She definitely is bumping up against it and learning, has some hard-fought lessons on what it actually means to be Muslim, actually what it means to have some type of faith guiding your every step, guiding your walk of life. And for a film to portray that in this way, I didn't feel that it was preachy in any type of way. I didn't feel like it was sermonizing in any type of way. I felt like it was taking its time with showing how this is affecting on Summer. I applauded that, and I liked it. However, at the end of the day, I didn't feel that the story of the movie had enough stakes to it that I felt really like involved in it. Like sitting there and like wanting, like rooting for Summer. I didn't feel like it made me want to root for her mother, the two of them to get out on the other end, to come out on the other side, to reach their goal. Like the Watermelon Woman, for all its faults, which we definitely talked about, I felt a bit of, I felt very cathartic and was like cool because the film ended with, and she told her story. She told the story that she wanted to tell. And this film, you know, I didn't feel as involved in this story as I want it to be. I thought it's a well told story. It's a well made film. But at the end, there was just something that was just kept me from like really locking in on it. And if I'm being 100, I think it may have been the push and pull between Summer's story and Jade's story. Like I could have just as soon as, you know, just stayed with Summer. Because I enjoyed her relationships with her friends. I enjoyed that back and forth. I enjoyed that window into that world. I enjoyed the window into a world where friends can talk harshly to one another and still come back the next day and be friends because they understand where it's all coming from. I enjoyed they could joke with one another about the changes that's happening in someone, yet still show that they're embracing it and still showing that they, you know, that they're accepting of it and they're not going to be the person that make you go throw anything away. I enjoyed that they were friends who called each other out on their shit every once in a while. You know, I really enjoyed her relationship with Tahir, the young boy who she has a relationship with in this film. I love the back and forth between them. I love the exploration of one another to see what each other is about. The accepting of one another. You know, I accept this is how you are. I accept this how you are. We're going to try and find our way together. And then where they come out on the other side, I'm cool with. I just would have liked more time with it, you know, at the end of it. But because this film does pull away for moments with what's going on in Jade's life, which is as well done as they are, I don't think any of them are super explored in any truly meaningful way outside of just to, you know, give lip service to, okay, she's converting to Islam, so now that's going to change how she appears on the show. And so you got one scene where people bump up against it, and then the next scene, all of a sudden somebody wrote a blog. You know, you've got this, you know, the head. You got this. I'm sorry.
Who, the imam?
Yeah, the imam. You got the imam who's kind of like slowly, you know, passive aggressively hitting on her, you know, but nothing really comes of it. But nothing really comes of it. It doesn't really have any type of like endpoint to it, you know. So I for all of that, it's well kind of like meaning as those moments are. I would have just as soon as like give that real estate of the film back over to Summer, you know, and so that we can be that more involved in her story. Because real quick, and then I'll let you go. The actress Zoe Renee is very compelling in this role. She is very compelling. She carries a lot of this film on her shoulder, and I think she ably does so for the most part. So that's why I would have loved to see her have at least more moments to maybe show even a little bit more colors that she had in her pocket for that character. So I come away liking this movie, and honestly, watching this film is like, this was a film that I think was tastefully done, even the love scene, in a way that I would be interested in showing this to my nieces as a way of kind of like an introduction into just, you know, like they will soon be teenagers, so see how teenagers go through, as well as an introduction to another culture as far as the Muslim culture. So I came away liking it. I just didn't find myself liking it and enjoying it as much as I really truly wanted to.
Yeah, I think my note that I kind of circled was 92 minutes. And I don't know if it was a budgetary concern. I don't know if this is just the story that Nijla Mu'min wanted to tell exactly how it was. But I really, really wish this could have breathed a bit more. Because there are so many aspects of this story that can hold it their own, right? I'll just start. Let's just get it out of the way. I really enjoyed Simone Missick's performance. Like this is, I don't know, you know Luke Cage. She's like a badass in Luke Cage. She was in Altered Carbon.
Yes, badass in Altered Carbon.
She's a badass in Altered Carbon. I haven't watched a lot of All Rise, but what I have, she's a judge.
Right.
I love the fragility that you see in her performance. I love this sort of, she's sort of tenuous in these scenes. And you're right, it's not spelled out, but just what you glean from it, just from what her ex-husband, played by her true life husband, Dorian Missick, says about her sort of being all over the place when they met. The kind of clunky info dump, but still worked. Report that Summer writes about their background, their parents' background. Right. You get the sense that Jade has always been looking for something. And I think this film does a great job through Simone Missick's performance of showing the peace that religion, and in this case, Islam, brought to this woman. But like you said, that could be a whole movie.
That's the problem.
That could be a whole movie, just Jade's journey.
Right.
Zoe's journey, as I can't really say anything different than what you said. Every aspect of Summer's life is compelling. I love her relationship with her mother. I love her relationship with her girls. We talk about Black Boy Joy. I actually wrote Black Girl Joy. Her best friend, played by Ashley Fauché, Blaine. Blaine was the best.
Yes,
I could have watched those three girls just hang out and be girls. And it was so nice to see just this joy in these girls sort of living their life. I just love the female characters in here. Like I've talked about Jade and Summer and Summer's friends. You know who I really, really enjoyed as a character?
I know who you're going to say. Go ahead.
Tahir's mother.
Yep.
Rashida.
Yep.
What a complex character.
I know.
What a great depiction of a modern Muslim woman who has apparently made these decisions in her life because of her faith, has this approach to her faith, but at the same time navigates this world. As a Black woman. But again, the film is 92 minutes.
Right.
So you get these wonderful characters, and it just feels like there's not enough time with each of them. Dorian Missick, big fan of Dorian Missick, doesn't have a lot to do in this film. He's in 3 scenes, but even in those 3, like you see the dynamic between he and his daughter.
Yes, you do.
And Jade. And just, sort of the divorced cool dad. Like he's divorced cool dad. But there are these beautiful moments. I mentioned you were talking about One Night in Miami, and how Regina King lets the scene go
Linger
a little long. And you said you didn't know if it was the director or the editor. And I thought the same thing about a couple of scenes in this film, but I thought they worked really well. There were these moments, like there's a moment where Jade is angry at Summer and basically tells her she's a disgrace. And it hits really hard. And you can feel like this is the moment that the scene should cut.
Right, but it goes a little long.
But it goes a little longer so that we sit in it.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
The moments when Summer dances go a little long so that we can sit in the joy. And then the one great moment that I thought Dorian Missick has in this film towards the end, and it's just a plot, come to find out Summer has had sex with Tahir. And her father finds out at the table. Her father, David, played by Dorian Missick, finds out at the table as Jade and Summer are talking about it. And there's this wonderful moment where the two women kind of have made their peace with it. Like Jade says, did you use protection? Did you want to do it? Summer says, I did want to do it. And they sort of reconcile. And then the camera holds on David for a split second. And you see on his face, cool dad was not ready to hear about his daughter having sex.
Right.
But it's such a great decision. Again, I don't know if it's the director or it's the editor. But all of these moments kind of speak to what we're saying, where this is like the great Micheaux mission compliment. Like you and I are usually slicing and dicing. This is 15 minutes too long. This is 20 minutes too long. They could have edited out this part. Why is she over there dancing? You can cut that out. Where I think this could have used 15 more minutes.
Yeah, I think it could have used a little bit.
Open it up some.
Yeah.
So that like you, I liked it. I wanted to like it more because I wanted more done with it.
Just that moment you were talking about when they are talking about them having, her and Jade are talking to, she reveals to her mother that she had sex with Tahir. And what I appreciated about that moment was when Jade asked her, did you want to? I immediately remember, because I noticed it and I appreciated it in the moment, in the scene when they do have sex. There's a moment between her and Tahir when they're looking at each other, and she implicitly does tell him it's okay. That this is what I want as well. This is not coercion or anything like that. And I appreciated the film having the intelligence to present that, because it could have been very easy for you to just assume consent because they had been kissing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I like that little stop for that. Right. And then the Rashida character, I was about to call shenanigans on this film for two things, but it made up for it very quickly, because they have sex, they like it, so then they later on another day, want to start to have some more sex. However, as opposed to when they smartly did it when no one is home, now they're regular teenagers. Let's try and sneak it while our parents are home, and only for mom to come up and very subtly just turn on the lights because she sees what's happening, and that's the signal that I've seen you, so stop. And Summer says, oh, I've got to go. Tahir, well, do you want to walk me down? And she says no. And then he lets her go tip down those stairs. Now, bruh, I was calling mad shenanigans on that, because you do not let no one just tiptoe out from your house, especially when you just more or less, even if you don't think you got busted, you saw the lights come on, so you have to assume that you possibly got busted. So you don't let nobody just the lady go tiptoeing out the door. So I was getting my mad on for Tahir. And then when she does go tiptoeing out the door and Rashida meets her at the door, I'm like, well, first of all, you want to talk about the walk of shame. Oh my God. But I was about to call shenanigans. So like, oh, you're going to give her an earful, but you ain't going to talk to your son? You ain't going to call your son downstairs? But
for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Right. Because, cut to the scene after she, you hear her ramming at her husband, obviously after she rammed at Tahir.
Yeah.
But what I appreciated about Rashida's character, like you said, this was just such a well-drawn character for who doesn't have probably as many scenes as Dorian, maybe two, 3 scenes as well.
Yeah.
But when she does confront Summer, while it is with anger, it is anger that is baked inside of first and foremost disappointment.
Yes.
And that is how she greets her. She says, "I don't want you coming back here," but it hurts her to say that. Because she actually did like her, was beginning to feel her, and appreciated the relationship that she was developing with her son. And it all comes out in so few words, but with just looks and sensational acting, and then just the I'm going to call your mother. It's like, oh, I mean, like, dude, I mean, that was just such a captivating performance and moment.
We should probably say that's Kelly Jenrette, who plays Rashida. Her character is fantastic. Just to finish that thought, I love that she calls Jade, Summer's mother, to tell, but she's sensitive enough to understand that Jade is going through whatever Jade is going through, and understands this isn't the moment for that.
Mm-hmm.
And when the imam has during the service, basically talks about Summer posting inappropriate pictures on Instagram, and Summer runs out, and Rashida, as soon as the service is over, goes and digs into his ass.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, Rashida is this is a movie right here."
That's right.
Right. Again, I think it is a testament to the director, to I'm going back and forth on my screen, to Nijla Mu'min,
right,
that you have these characters, that are so fully drawn that you really do want.
You want more.
You want more of each of them, because Nahir's family, like Nahir talking about his parents are basically patching things up because his dad wanted a second wife. Right. And his mom wasn't having it, and now things are just getting back to normal. And then the movie goes on, and I'm like, whoa! I gotta hear some more about this.
But you know what? And I felt that too. But you know why I appreciated that was just, matter-of-factly put out there? Because this movie does what every other mainstream movie does, especially in regards to religion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your religion or spirituality of choice, it assumes the basic trappings, and what you don't know, you'll the subtext will fill it in, right?
Right.
So it assumes that the basic trappings of the Muslim faith, and if you don't, you'll get it. You'll get that when they gather together, the women sit in one section and the men sit in another section. You'll get that when they pray, the women are behind the men, and you get, and I'll tell you just another scene that I love, and this has nothing to do with the faith, but I just love that they were sitting there watching a basketball game together. I just absolutely adored that. I was like, oh my God, it's so cool. But it assumes that you know that, and it doesn't grab your hand and walk you through. It doesn't have to like as much as Summer is our window into this world, she's not our window into the encyclopedia of Muslim.
Sure.
She's our window into what matters about being Muslim.
Well, I guess I guess the reason I wanted more of that, because in my mind that went along with this theme throughout the film, this gendered look at Islam. And while I agree with you that the film doesn't hold your hand and shouldn't have to hold your hand,
right?
I do think you have to acknowledge how those of us who aren't Muslim, those of us who don't know any Muslims, those of us who don't live in Philadelphia, which is half Muslim, have these misconceptions about the faith.
That's true.
And I think the parallel journey of Summer as a young woman and Jade, frankly, as a single woman, along with Rashida, who's a married woman, does a good job of showing how complicated gender is.
Yeah.
So that I thought that this moment about, because they kind of lampshaded at the beginning when Summer is talking about converting, and Blaine goes on that glorious rant about her uncle, where the moment where I say, oh yeah, I just want to hear Blaine talk about things. And she says, and you know, and he had like 37 wives, and then he was stealing them. But they kind of, it is this misconception about polygamy. So the fact that this couple who, you know, like you said, when we see them, they're watching basketball, they have this great relationship. I forget whether or not this is before or after Rashida goes and dresses down the imam.
This is before, because this is her meeting.
Right. I just thought it was this wonderful opportunity to really talk about it. But again, and this is just what we're going to keep saying, 92 minutes.
Right.
You know, 92 minutes. But I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the performances. You know, like I said, once again, I don't want to sound like kind of vaguely insulting by how much I like Simone Missick's performance. I just haven't seen her at this speed. But like, I love the quiet moments with her. Like, there are 2 or 3 moments where it's just she in the camera. Like when she's sort of pronouncing her new name.
That was fun. That was a fun moment. Yeah.
I love the first moment where you see her giving her weather report and you hear the weather report voice. And then when they say cut, her whole face changes. Like, it's such a quiet performance. And it's just, you just kind of wanted more. But ultimately, I enjoyed it. Like
I said, ultimately, I come down on the side of enjoying the film. And, you know, just skipping ahead, I would recommend the movie. There was a part of me that just wanted to like it more. And I think you just put your finger, you nailed it. Just, you know, maybe having more room for things to breathe and for some of the scenes to like land a little stronger for me. But ultimately, it's a good movie. I'll say another thing about Summer and Jade, Zoe Renee, and Simone Missick. I appreciated that they looked like mother and daughter.
Right?
That's
what, like Simone's kid.
I know. That I came away as like, why are we fronting here? This is Zoe Renee Missick, isn't? I mean, like, come on.
Right.
And I like that. I appreciated that aspect of it as well. Also, who can only make sliders? Like what's this whole deal? What's this whole deal? Because let's face it, if you can make a slider, you can at least make a whole burger. Who can only make sliders?
It was such a great little detail
that
tells you about David. Like, David is just, and dudes like this, like just sort of living this kind of superficial life.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gets to be cool dad because his ex-wife is doing all the heavy lifting.
Right.
So I get to I get to date this woman who's, it seems pretty frivolous, but I'm happy and I'm happy-go-lucky. And again, he comes from this big family, so he's very secure in who he is.
Right.
He has no qualms about dating a white woman. So, he's dating this white woman and all she can make is sliders.
I'm sorry.
And I'm cool with her. And then when things go down with Summer, and Summer is, is it cool if I stay here? And he's like, of course, you're my daughter. And again, he's just sort of carefree and happy-go-lucky, which is a wonderful contrast to Jade.
Jade, yes.
But like I said, it makes for that wonderful split second where suddenly cool dad is a little bit out of his depth.
Yeah.
Because his daughter and ex-wife are talking about birth control and consent.
I know, because that is not a conversation you want to have. Trust me.
Not over pancakes and you weren't ready for it.
Right?
Like he thought he was just directing traffic between his crazy ex-wife and his crazy daughter. He didn't know it was going to be all this.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't know that it was going to be all this, and I got to pretty much just swallow it. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't even speak on it. It's just like, what? But it was cool.
Again, Dorian Missick doesn't have a lot to do, but that's a great moment, and he nails it. So, So, Lynn, would you recommend?
I said I would recommend people.
I know, but we have to do it formally.
Yes, Vincent. Yes.
I would also recommend Jinn. I don't like to do free advertising, but I did notice when it popped up, if people are listening to this in real time, it is on Amazon Prime, but I think it's leaving in like 5 or 6 days. I thought that's what it said when it popped up. So, I think it may have said that, yeah. So
I think it's leaving because it's leaving at the end of the month.
Yeah, so if you have Amazon Prime, it's on there right now. It's going to be gone by the end of the month. If you're not listening to this in real time, it is certainly worth the rental.
Definitely is. And make sure that you get Jinn, Jinn, from 2018, ladies and gentlemen. Do not rent the film of the same name from 2014, which is a horror film. Yes, a horrible horror film. So do not watch that.
Are there any black people in 2014's Jinn?
Yes.
Oh, so you can't even do that. Like if you turn it on and see, okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as many. I mean, it's not a black cast at all. But it's God. God.
You thought it was going to be awkward for a second. Like you watched like 20 minutes and you're like, I'm going to have to come on here and say that the Mystics movie was terrible. It was awkward for 20 minutes.
This is a strange film for them to be. I don't see them in. This is very off-putting. But it's a weird film. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week here on the Micheaux Mission, I invite you all to send us all of your feedback. Send your emails to micheauxmission@gmail.com. I can't make it rhyme. Also, like and follow us on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Micheaux Mission. Subscribe to the Micheaux Mission on the YouTube as well. The Micheaux Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com, curated podcast for your earbuds. The show is available in an edited form every Saturday at 1 p.m. on WPPM. Philly Cam 106.5 FM, People Power Media here in the city of brotherly love, sisterly affection.
Philly Cam.
You can wake up with the Micheaux Mission every Monday at 9 a.m. on WKDU FM 91.7 FM, the voice of Drexel University. And if you want to help us out, ladies and gentlemen, go to the MicheauxMission.com website and hit swag, where you can check out all of the cool designs that we have coming your way by way of our good friends at TeePublic. And someone asked, does TeePublic make the designs for the shirts? No, they do not, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
The designs for all of our accoutrements are created by this guy. That's right, me, Len Webb, a.k.a. Cruz. I do it all. And I have a new design coming your way. You can check it out for all of you who are subscribers to our Micheaux Mission Dispatch, our weekly newsletter. You will see come Thursday that there will be a new design for Black History Month emblazoned in our newsletter to coincide with our second year in a row of featuring for Black History Month African American Westerns.
Giddy up.
Giddy up, giddy up. What? That's right. We are going to be having not one, not two, not three, but 4 weeks. 4 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, of African American Westerns here on the Micheaux Mission. And next week, we kick things off with my choice, and I'm dipping way back.
Wait.
Yes.
It's my turn.
Well, I thought we were doing it with I thought we would do them in chronological order.
Oh.
Well, this way you'll have 2 weeks in a row.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. Okay.
All right.
So we're just take 2.
Old-timey Cowboys.
We going old timey, baby. We going old time. You know what I do. You know what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I do. We going all the way back to 1939.
Oh Lord, they were actually cowboys. It's a documentary.
No, it's not. It's a fantastic film starring that smooth baritone of Herbert Jeffrey. Don't know about him? Then you're going to look him up because he's a bad brother. And he brings his group, the Four Tones, and his trusty sidekick, Rusty. And they show how Harlem rides the range. That's right, baby.
Is it Oscar Micheaux?
That's not Oscar Micheaux. It is not Oscar Micheaux. It's not Oscar Micheaux. Harlem, it rides the range. 1939, ladies and gentlemen, we go back in time.
Harlem was just code for black people.
I know. I'm like, does this mean like it's a New York Western? Like what? Like,
it's kind of like how that director said that Zoe Kravitz was too urban to be in something.
True.
Look at you over there playing that Harlem music.
That Harlem music. But they do sing in the movie, so
I know. Looking forward to it.
There you go. All right, that's next week here on the Micheaux Mission, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, he's Vincent and I'm Len, and in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.